Well, hello there, and welcome to this discussion on tourism in the Canberra and Capital Region. I'm Joe Prevedello, and I'm joined here by the proprietor of Canberra Guided Tours, Neil Hermes. G'day, Neil.
Hi, Joe.
In this particular episode, Neil, we're going to have a little chat about private wine tours, wine charter tours.
Look, Joe, these are fantastic. Doing private charters for people, we get a chance to take people to particular wineries that they might want to visit. We get to go to places where the food is their selection. It's great going on a general wine tour, but you then have to be, doing the things that everyone else is doing. On a private charter tour, you get to go to the places you'd like to go to, spend the time you want to at those particular places, and have the food arrangements that suit you.
Yeah, so normally on a normal scheduled wine tour that your business would undertake, you have a set schedule of wineries that you would visit on any given day.
Yeah.
But if a client wanted to take on a private wine tour, they'd essentially be able to have some more input into which wineries they would go to based on their interests and taste.
Well, they have all the input, really, short of the wineries deciding what's available and what's not. But if they have particular wines that they know of or particular types of wine that they're interested in, the tour can be really worked around that sort of emphasis for them. And the other good thing too, Joe, is that they can spend the amount of time that they want to in a particular winery. We try and do about 4 to 5 wineries on an average sort of scheduled tour. But some people would prefer potentially to stay longer at a particular place and have a different range of tasting options. So we can spend longer at a particular winery. And particularly in and around lunch, we might find that, people want to do a longer tasting over the lunch period and make that part of the experience as well. So it gives that flexibility of, where we go, how long we stay, and it also gives the winery the opportunity to, to be told in advance, we've got this group that are particularly interested in this type of wine or whatever, and they can make a bit more, they love having people that come that know a bit better about it, what they want to do, and they can talk more about those particular wines that they have. It can be a much more customised and a better experience.
So, the Canberra region is well known for certain varieties of wine, and Riesling is one of those. Mm-hmm. So if you had a potential client come to you and say, look, I'm really interested in Riesling, I like it from other regions, you could put together a program based on the best Riesling wineries in the Canberra area.
And we would, and what we do is we'd alert those wineries, and then they'd know that this group was not just another group coming through that might just spend 45 minutes at the property, and so that they would tailor the experience for that group, knowing that they'd visited other wineries tasting Rieslings in other places on the same day. So tailor the experience to that sort of thing. And you might find too that for a charter, they don't actually want to visit more than, say, 2 wineries, one before lunch and essentially one over lunch. All that can be managed around your particular desires. And the other thing too, Joe, is that we can depart from Canberra at a time that's actually suitable for the group. Typically on a full day wine tour, we would schedule tour. We'd leave at 9:30, which is quite early. Sometimes people say, look, we don't need to leave Canberra till 11. And in fact, and perhaps stay out a little later. We can tailor the timing to suit a group if they want that.
And the size of a charter group or an exclusive wine tour group could range from 1 to any given number, really.
Yeah, it really is only limited by the wineries. The wineries themselves have certain limits. During COVID, they were quite strict about the sizes of groups going in. As we come out of COVID, those numbers are reducing, but it does. Some of the wineries are so small that they don't want more than, say, a dozen, 20 people at one time in the winery. Other facilities have much bigger capacity and can you can do a much bigger group. So depending on the winery, but we do have, over 50 wineries in the district. So there's a lot of flexibility about the numbers that we can take to different places.
Yeah, and let's just go back to, say, if you did have an aficionado of Riesling, what would you pick out? Obviously, Helm would be one of them.
And look, I can think of probably 10. Now that we would go through and
Gallagher.
Yeah, that's right. So I'd go through those. It would depend a bit on the group size. It would depend a bit on what they wanted to do for a meal at lunchtime as well. So we might be able to organise a special luncheon around a Riesling tasting experience, but that could only be done at a couple of the wineries because they have the the dining facilities available. So that would be part of how you would structure a private charter group. Now, a charter group could be, 2 or 4 people, and we could do a charter for a small group. It could be a very special occasion for someone, and we do those from time to time.
Birthdays,
That
other
sort of thing.
parties.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be a big group. But yeah, look, a group 20 or thereabouts is actually a good group as well. So yeah, it can be tailored to suit the group size.
Okay, so there you have it. With Canberra Guided Tours, you can always book a scheduled wine tour, or you could go the extra step and book an exclusive or a private wine tour with Canberra Guided Tours. Thanks, Neil.
Thanks very much, Joe.